Hello and welcome. Tonight, crisis in the National Assembly over appointment of principal officers deepens as more APC caucuses reject party's position. President Buhari and APC governors insist on party supremacy, urge members in the National Assembly to respect the decision of the APC leadership on principal officers. House of Representatives to investigate alleged fraudulent oil swap by the NNPC and some oil trading companies. And court rules that President Omar al-Bashir had no immunity from arrest almost 2 weeks after the Sudanese leader left South Africa.
On Business News tonight, the Central Bank of Nigeria withdraws foreign exchange allocation for importers, promises to impose sanctions on defaulters.
And on sports news, Russian Football Union confirmed Fabio Capello will stay on as a national team coach.
We begin tonight with a lingering disagreement within the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC, over the candidates to fill the principal offices of the National Assembly. The attempts by the APC lawmakers, who are members of the Unity Group, to compel the Senate President to read a letter from the party listing its candidates for the leadership positions was stalled at today's plenary. A federal lawmaker, Senator Gbenga Ashafa, had raised a point of order, noting that the APC sent a letter to the Senate President stating its position on the principal officers of the 8th Senate. But the senators loyal to the Senate President refused to accept the candidates nominated by the party, insisting that the APC caucus should determine the senators to fill the 4 vacant positions. Well, we'll bring you that report in a moment, but meanwhile, more caucuses of the All Progressives Congress, APC, in the House of Representatives have come out to reject the position of the party's national leadership on the zones that should produce the principal officers for the House. The North Central and Southeast zones say the position of the party, which excludes their zones, is against the principle of federal character as enshrined in the Constitution. The zones also say they were not consulted before the position was taken and believe the party should reconsider its position on the matter. The APC governors have asked the members of the National Assembly and its leadership to respect the views of the party that brought them to where they are. The governors gave the advice after their meeting with President Buhari, which lasted till after midnight at the presidential villa. Some of them that spoke with Channels Television said the purpose of the advice is to end the leadership tussle in the National Assembly, which is capable of engulfing the ruling party. We'd like to warn our viewers that the images you're about to see contain flash photography.
We are the APC governors. We met with our president and we're worried by what is happening at the National Assembly. We felt we should rub minds with Mr. President and also to commend him on the steps he's taken so far to address the issue of the economy of the nation, which is literally in shambles. And the meeting we had with Mr. President this morning is more reassuring that there's light at the dark end of the tunnel. But with all these achievements we're making and progress we're making, we're worried by the pockets of disagreements going on at the National Assembly. And we resolved that we came from a party, and our party's views should be respected. And so we feel that there's room for us to invite our senators and look more into the matter and see how we can all make peace. But we believe that our party, which we all came from, that everyone should respect our party.
The senators should adopt the position of the party, because we all got elected on the platform of the party. We are not just a collection of individuals, we are a political party. And when the party has spoken, we must listen. Otherwise, if it was a game of individuals, like golf, then individuals can go their way. I think it's very clear at this point that the party has responsibility to keep the system going. So we as progressive governors, we've listened to the president, we've discussed extensively, and we are clear that the party position should be supported by the senators. This is the way it should be. And we should start on a note of working closely. We as governors, we listen to the party, we expect our senators to also listen to the parties.
Meanwhile, the Akwa Ibom State Governorship Tribunal has granted the All Progressive Congress an extension of time to inspect the electoral materials used for the April 11th governorship election. According to the ruling party, which was delivered by the chairman of the tribunal, Justice Abubakar Umar, the Independent National Electoral Commission was also ordered to move everything used for the election from the state to the headquarters of the commission within the next 10 days. The tribunal also ordered the Inspector General of Police and the Department of State Services to provide adequate security for the movement of the materials. The court also ordered APC to inspect the materials within 14 days from the 6th of July 2015. The court, however, reserved ruling in the application questioning the jurisdiction of the tribunal to move from Akwa Ibom to Abuja to a date to be communicated to the parties.
Well, the application we made to court was for extension of time for the purpose of further inspecting documents for which we didn't have opportunity during the first order that was made by the court. And the court has further ordered that the documents that are in the custody of INEC in Uyo be brought to the headquarters of INEC in Abuja for the purpose of that inspection, and that the security agencies ensure the security of those documents. That's what the court ordered.
I think that was a balance. It wasn't exactly in favor, because what they had wanted was for the electoral materials to be brought to court. And don't forget that when we were arguing the motion, we had said if the court decides to exercise its discretion in favor of having to extend the time, because it is actually within the discretion of the courts to extend time, but that the electoral materials should not be moved to the courts, because the law, Section 72 of the Electoral Act, makes INEC to be the custodian of those materials. And if they are moved to the courts, that means it would be in breach of Section 72. And what the court did was actually to agree with that position and decide that they should be moved from Uyo, not to the courts, but to INEC headquarters in Abuja. So to that extent, really, what the court was doing was justice in the case.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Mahmood Mohammed, is lamenting attacks on judicial officers handling corruption cases. Speaking at the Nigerian Bar Association's anti-corruption session in Abuja, Justice Mohammed said that whereas judicial officers are punished for corruption, the major beneficiaries most times walk free. Justice Mohammed, who was represented by Supreme Court Judge Justice John Fabiyi, said between 2009 and 2014, over 64 judges of superior courts have been disciplined.
President Muhammadu Buhari announced his determination to fight corruption as he kick-started his administration. However, he is confronted by a public service that is embedded in corruption, a practice that many believe has stunted the growth of the nation.
Chairman, NBA Anti-Corruption Commission.
At this session on anti-corruption, lawyers have come together to proffer ideas and solutions that will help the fight against corruption.
We have several agencies fighting against corruption. We have no synergy, we have no coordination. EFCC works on its own, ICPC works on its own, and yet the police and the Code of Conduct work on their own. Would it not be necessary for us to consider putting all of them under a central command unit
Our law enforcement agencies are only ready and eager to arrest the weak ones who cannot bribe their ways in billions of naira. Our EFCC and ICP investigations make the laws to be what Francis Bacon described as laws are like cobwebs, strong enough to catch the weak, but too weak to catch the strong.
But the Chief Justice of Nigeria, who was represented at the forum, said the suggestions must include how major beneficiaries of corrupt acts are punished and not just judicial officers.
It is, however, sad to know that the public officials and persons who benefit from corrupting judicial officers are never investigated, apprehended, or even prosecuted, even though the judiciary disciplines its own. The basic question, my lords, ladies and gentlemen, is how can we stop corruption when the scale is seeming tilted in favor of the beneficiaries?
These lawyers are advocating a re-strategizing of the processes for fighting corruption in the country, and they insist on commitment from all Nigerians if the war must be won. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, daredevil armed robbers raid banks in Lagos. Please stay with us.